This is really funny because back when I was prior to like getting into the whole drug lifestyle and all that stuff, I was a very bright-eyed, bushy-tailed young man. I was like, I'm going to change the world.
A lot of men struggle with those very same addictions, habits, past experiences that they have to overcome. And so somebody in your situation who has seen the worst of the worst, been through some really difficult times, and have come out on the other side, living a positive, encouraging life that you now can be an encouragement and a support for other people is wildly inspiring.
Welcome to Courageous Stewards, the podcast where legacy meets leadership.
We believe stewardship isn't just about managing resources. It's about multiplying impact, honoring purpose, and building with eternity in mind. Each week, we dive into business-focused discussions on real estate investing on a foundation of faith and family.
We have a desire to inspire listeners with a heart to reclaim their time, talents, and treasures for something greater. Whether you're growing your portfolio, leading a business, or a family, we need to become the best version of ourselves.
This is your space to gain wisdom, walk in courage, and steward what matters most.
Let's build what lasts. Let's lead with love.
Let's become courageous stewards.
All right, guys, welcome back. This is a special one, episode 16, and we are super excited. I mean, we just spent almost 40 minutes prior to the podcast talking together, and we just love having these conversations with our guests. So we've got a special one today with John Derby here. He owns Affordable Roofing and Gutters here in Defiance. I met John through church, and we got connected. He's worked with me on some jobs and just does great work, has a great business, awesome mindset, and just a good person in general. So we're just excited to know him. We're excited he made time to come on the podcast today. Jake got to know John through me, and we just kind of connected together, and we've had a lot of conversations around what's going on in each of our businesses, but also maybe some future conversations on what could look like together and some opportunities. So It's very exciting. So we're going to kick things off. It's going to be kind of interview style. We're going to just ask some questions and have some conversation.
Yep.
So Jake, why don't you take it on?
Yeah, so the story that was interesting to me, actually we were just talking about, was how I met John. I haven't known John for all that long, and I needed somebody for one of our rental properties. Before we sold it, the roof had some problems. We had to get the roof fixed, and so I reached out to Sean and said, hey, do you know somebody that could just do some minor repairs on this? We don't want a whole roof over or anything major, just as simple as possible to get this one listed and sold. And so he gave me John's information. I reached out to John. John came over for a few $100, was able to climb up on this nasty, steep roof in the middle of winter, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And do some patchwork for us, which we told the seller, you have a couple years on this roof, you're going to need to get it replaced, and they were cool with that. So, but it just worked out really well, and we have been friends since and grown in our relationship, and we've been able to be a blessing to John in some times when he was struggling, maybe some encouragement and stuff. We can talk about however this conversation goes. We don't know exactly how or what we're going to talk about, but I do want to talk briefly. The first question that I have written down here is just tell us about you, about what got you to the spot that you're in today. Take us back in your story.
Okay, so I'll start off. My mom got in a really bad accident when I was a kid. I was a baby. She was not supposed to live. God miraculously healed her. So my base knowledge of life is like how miraculous God can make things happen. Fast forward, my dad was a really bad drug addict. He introduced me to multiple drugs, and I fell into a part of my life where I'd never seen myself or never wanted to be. And it may sound bad, but to me it makes me smile because it's like, once again, how miraculous is God? So I've battled with addiction for a little while, and now I'm a family man, business owner. God's blessing my life. I'm sober, and I own a successful business. I'm surrounded by amazing people. So it's like miracles like crazy. So if you ask me who I am, what my story is, it's like more so look at what God can do. That's pretty much.
Yeah.
How
long have you been sober?
4 years now.
4 years. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a powerful story. And I think it resonates with a lot of our listeners. Our listeners are primarily going to be men. They're going to be from, maybe the 18 to 40 range. Mm-hmm. Maybe narrow that down a little bit to like 25 to 40, give or take. And so, a lot of men struggle with those very same addictions, habits, past experiences that they have to overcome. And so somebody in your situation who has seen the worst of the worst, been through some really difficult times, and have come out on the other side, living a positive, encouraging life that you now can be an encouragement and a support for other people is wildly inspiring. You're a family man now, right? You have a wife and 4 children.
4 kids.
All kind of younger, growing, and a wildly successful business with business partners, and you have crews that do a lot of work for you, and you've become kind of a leader in the community. And that's inspiring.
That's our first time I've heard that one, but
it's
yeah,
cool
I'll take
right?
it.
Yeah, you are, man. You are. You're inspiring others around you in what you do, what you are doing, and where you're going, the way you challenge yourself to grow, man. People see that, man. That's influence.
Yeah.
You've got that. It's awesome. I think the big thing here for men in this is a thing that's happening in all of our lives. Like, we are the same way as kids. You grow up, they glamorize a certain part of life, like what you're going to look like when you're a man. And then what you're going to look like as a woman, like how things are going to go, and they glamorize it. Everything's supposed to turn out like this white picket fence, this great house. What happens for most males, and myself included, you get to a point in life and you're working, you're paying bills and you're getting by, but you are so discouraged by how short you feel like you're coming up in life versus what you had planned out in your mind as a kid growing up, where you're like, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
It's the coping mechanisms that attach themselves to that mentality that drag us back. So what I see of these overcoming stories, it's basically being able and being willing to overcome that discouragement point that we reach as young men as we grow up and become adults and become married and have homes where we go, I was going to have way more than this. But I guess I'm going to play some PlayStation, or I'm going to drink some more beer and have some pizza. Just try to avoid the feeling of feeling my reality.
Yeah.
And so when I talk with men like you, it's like, that's what I hear.
Yeah.
You've overcome that thing that gets in us and discourages us at that point in our life where it didn't turn out the way we thought.
Yeah, I seen one of your guys' clips, and it was talking about like being able to let people go and just reposition your inner circle. And I think that has probably been the secret sauce to where I'm at right now. Is just, I meet up with you guys once a week for the most part. My wife is very supportive in a lot of ways of, just she wants us to be a good, healthy family. She wants more for me than what I want for myself,
That's good.
My partner, Kyle, and it's like, if you were to ask me what my inner circle looked like when I was living at my dad's house 10 years ago, and, oh man, it was just, I still pray for those people. I still wish the best for those people, but ultimately speaking, they don't really hear much from me. And every now and again, like I'll get a call from like an old friend that's, struggling with doing drugs or whatever it may be. And I'll answer the phone call, give them 30 minutes and pray over them, speak life into them. But just what you guys said, this is a season. This is somebody that's going to help me learn. That's huge. I think that should be anybody that's going to overcome anything needs to realize like there are certain people and certain times and places that those people need to take place, and they also need to go sometimes.
Yeah, I know we both experienced that, and it's giving yourself permission to let it go. That's the hard part.
The podcast that John is referring to is called A Reason, a Season, or a Lifetime. And it talks about how the people that are brought into your life are generally for one of those 3 reasons. They're either there for a reason, for you to help them grow, for them to help you grow. They're there for a season, through thick and thin, or through a situation that you may be going through where you need them for that season, or vice versa, they need you, or a lifetime. Very few and far between are those people that are going to be there for a lifetime, but they are out there. You guys will have to go back and listen to that through, because there's some powerful nuggets that I think everybody can take from that one.
Yeah, that's huge.
Great.
And that actually leads me to a conversation that we had pretty recently, which was kind of interesting. I said to you, the 2 most important decisions that you're ever going to make in your lifetime. You remember this? The 2 most important decisions you're ever going to make in your lifetime. Who is your God and who is your spouse? Those 2 decisions will make or break you early on in the spider web that becomes in your life. All the people that you impact are kind of going to be derived from those 2 decisions. Who is your God? Who is your spouse? Make those your most important decisions, and everything else will kind of develop in order.
Yeah.
That's good.
Powerful. Anyway, let's move on to some questions that we have for John that are I think, going to be inspiring and encouraging to some of our listeners. So, Sean, why don't you start off here?
Yeah. So, John, what moment did you realize that entrepreneurship was more than just building a business, but also about stewarding a calling on your life?
This is really funny because back when I was prior to like getting into the whole drug lifestyle and all that stuff, I was a very bright-eyed, bushy-tailed young man. I was like, I'm going to change the world. I'm going to help solve trafficking and hunger and homelessness. And like, I'm like, man, I can do this. I can actually change the world. But the older I get, the more I realize that like that mindset was more about me, what I can do. And now it's more like, how can I serve? And I think Jake was just talking earlier. It's like, you don't need any recognition. So I'm starting to realize like, I don't need recognition, but to answer your question, at a very young age, I knew I was going to try my best to steward people in the right direction.
That's awesome.
Life. Yeah.
So you had the stewarding call at a much younger age.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny how in the midst of struggle, you can still have that heart's desire to serve and give and build something that's bigger than you. Mm-hmm. You're going through, drug addictions and dealing with, maybe some difficult family members and friends that aren't the best influence. And through all of that, you still have the mindset of, I'm going to change the world.
Yeah.
And now you've recognized that it's not really about how you personally are going to impact. You don't need to be recognized for it necessarily. It's just the fact that you have a heart to go do it.
Yeah.
And see
That's
that.
Good. Yeah, I didn't have the stewarding heart at a young age. I was got into my struggles, and it was like I just knew. For me, it felt like, man, this is not the end. This is not it. Mm-hmm. I didn't arrive, and so that was where I started like questioning where I was.
Yeah.
But I didn't have the stewarding call. It took some more work. Mm-hmm. Getting into church, God started doing a work in me, and then that clarity started to come.
I think I kind of had like a twisted outlook, like where it was kind of more about me.
Yep.
Before, and then now it's like, dude, I'm getting old. I'm going bald. I've got kids. Like, I'm really not that great. Yeah. Like, I'm.
Well, yeah. Welcome to the
club.
Yeah.
You've done that. Yeah, the difference there, what you're talking about right now, I discovered I was drinking, going through my divorce and stuff.
Yeah.
And when a man loses marriage, and everything's falling apart, it's gone. Mm-hmm. When you're living for yourself, that is a very lonely, isolated, damaging place to be. What I found was the thing you were being called into, the stewardship call you had on your life at a young age, I got later on. Mm-hmm. When everything was done and gone, and I'm sitting in the house by myself, what happens is you put your identity in something. You can put your identity in yourself, too, the things you want, your desires. Mm-hmm. My identity was in my wife and my family. Mm-hmm. And I think wife and family should be important. Absolutely, but your identity can't be there. Mm-hmm. So when that went away, all of a sudden I was a hollow shell. I didn't know what to do. So when I got plugged into church and started serving other people, mm-hmm. it was big picture. All of a sudden it wasn't about me, it was about others. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden my problems that seemed like really big in the beginning were starting to get marginalized, because I'm hearing stories of people at church that have real problems. Like, okay, my marriage didn't work out. That's tough. My kids are both healthy. I'm going to see my kids on a regular basis. We had a good co-parenting relationship, everything. People were losing kids. Things like that's the stuff they were having. So all of a sudden, mine started getting marginalized, but I found purpose. Mm-hmm. Purpose brought the fulfillment I needed to know why I'm here.
Yeah.
If you lose your identity because you're having the wrong thing, you'll start asking yourself why you're even here. Mm-hmm. That's hard. You can't get excited about that.
Yeah.
When I know I'm here for others and I'm here to make an impact and to build something big so that I can do more for others, you have that fire, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It seems like you recognized very early on that you had a calling to create an impact in some way. And over time, you've recognized maybe that it doesn't necessarily have to be about your recognition, but just the fact that you're able to build something, which we can talk about here, about your business and how you've kind of grown that, but you're willing and able to build something for a positive impact for other people.
Yep.
Right. So tell us about what it is that you do, your business, how you grew it, give us some numbers if you want to. Just
Yeah,
go
absolutely.
into that a little bit.
I own a roofing business, exterior construction, a pole barn business. And when I was younger, I odd and end construction jobs and had base knowledge of construction. My grandpa was actually the president of the Carpenters Union in Ohio. And people always told me like how well known of a man he was and like how everyone in the community kind of looked up to him back in the day. And would be like Toledo, Metamora, Lyons, like that area. So I kind of had base construction knowledge, and then I got a sales construction job, and I did miraculous numbers like right away.
I remember you telling me that you like blew the numbers out of the water in comparison to anybody else who had ever worked for this company, right?
Yes. So my VP of sales, he's also a sales coach in the construction realm, and that niche, especially roofing. He goes and does like seminars and stuff like that, teaching companies will come and pay thousands of dollars to bring their sales force in to listen to him talk and to teach their sales people. He uses me as an example to these multi-million-dollar construction companies all across the nation to this day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just because of the sales numbers that you were
My
putting
very
up at a
first
very
month.
early age.
Yeah, I did $300,000 in sales my very first month in sales.
Holy cow.
Crazy.
That's amazing.
And that's like a 30 to 50% margin on most of those jobs. So you're talking anywhere from 100 to 150,000 not profit, but margin.
Yeah. So then what happened after that?
I continued. I was like, I found my thing. I think this is what I'm going to do. And they kind of rolled out like a contract that was like, hey, we're going to lower your commission rate. We're going to give you a salary. Basically, if I were to do the same numbers, I was going to be taking like a $30,000, $40,000 pay cut on, $100,000 salary.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's painful.
And in my mind, it was like, don't you think I should be rewarded rather than
That's bad.
penalized?
Yep.
Yeah. So I went out and started my own business, and that first year was Rocky Mountains. And I fell flat on my face a lot of times. I never left anybody completely screwed over. I always had integrity. I always did the right thing no matter what. And if that meant losing money, if that meant breaking even, if that meant sacrificing my stuff in my lifestyle, then that it is what it is, because integrity matters more than anything
100%.
in business. That just started to resonate, and I just got more business. I got bigger, and now I'm one of the top ranked roofing companies on Google, siding companies, gutter companies. We're the top ranked pole barn company now, so I'm really excited to see what that transpires to. So this year we did about a little over like $2 million in revenue.
Okay.
Next year, we're shooting for, I would say, a clean $4 to $5 million in the roofing realm, and then going to try to hit $2 million in the barns.
Okay.
And we want to get our hands into real estate. I've got two guys that are doing really well for themselves that like to coach me and help me out.
Who is that? Who's the person? Did you have a name?
I need to meet
I want to
them.
meet those people.
Yeah.
So let's keep rolling with that, because that's a great point on the next question in regards to like who were the key people in your circle that helped shape this journey, and how did you intentionally choose those relationships? Like you were talking about a little bit earlier when you were mentioning how you were giving yourself permission to let go of some relationships to build some new ones. What did that look like for you on this journey?
I would say, as far as like right now, I mean, you guys have really helped me out. Every week that I meet with you guys, I come back and I feel re-energized. You guys kind of like fill my hope up a little bit. And obviously, like, all glory to God.
Right.
But yeah, having the right people definitely helps. My partner, Kyle, he is, oh my gosh, I can't even thank him enough for the things he's helped me out with. So that's a huge one. And then my wife, she was the one that was like, hey, that's not your friend. That's not your friend. They're not going to help you. They're going to hold you back. She was like the gardener. She was a pruner. She was coming in, just
That's awesome.
cutting out all the weeds, just pulling them out. So I got to give her major, major credit for that. I mean, I've been sober 4 years. I've been with her for 4 years. So it's like,
Wow.
if that tells you anything.
Yeah.
Jennifer, you're awesome.
Yep. So, and then my kids are like, how can I ever go back to who I was before when they're constantly looking up to me? I don't want them to look up to what I had to look up to. Mm-hmm. My mom, her resilience, she could have been bedridden the rest of her life. She could have died. She was able to just be a miracle right in front of my eyes. So those are a few people that I think deserve some credit on who I became.
It's good.
That is really good. I think a lot of people probably would put themselves in the same position. The people that are closest to them, they can see how those people have shaped what it is that you've become.
Yeah.
You know, the people closest to you, and some of those in a positive way and some of them not so much. I mean, you've talked to us about, having not the greatest father figure in your life early on, and how maybe now looking back, even some of the negative things that happened in your childhood have helped to shape you in a positive direction. It doesn't always have to be positive person impacts me positively. It's almost like you can recognize how you went through the struggle and the challenge and use that to make yourself better for the next generation.
I can't tell you how many times I was in rooms where everyone's doing drugs, and I'm like, come on, guys, we can quit doing drugs. We can go change the world. We can start a business. We can do this. And they're all like, yeah, okay.
Just give me another hit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I started like sounding like a broken record, and I was just like, you know what? These aren't my people. These aren't.
You were destined for more, man.
But I was like thinking like, man, wouldn't that be cool if I could talk these people into like this route instead of that route, and how amazing that would be, and how big of a testament to God that would be. But it was just like, if someone's not willing to see better for themselves, it's like, I can't sit there for 20, 30 years and be stuck in that cycle.
Yeah, I had the same fire, man. When you start to perceive it and you're like, this can work. Or even when I first was getting close to God and had a relationship with him, I was on fire. I wanted to grab all my friends,
Yeah.
put them in my arm, take them to church, be like,
Yeah.
get you some of this.
Yeah.
But like, it doesn't, you have to want it for it to work. You have to believe it for it to work and have that faith. And the same for business. When I started this, I was telling everybody, I was teaching everybody, I'm like, dude, this is how it works. These are the numbers. This is how I made it happen. Because I want everybody to just start doing it. Like, go buy your first property. You've got to go this route. It's amazing. It'll work. It's slow, but they got to want to do it and be willing to do the work. That's the big separator on that part.
Separates the boys from the men right there.
Let's get after it. Jake was just yelling at me this morning at coffee. He's like, man, you're going and getting it. You're doing it. I'm excited for you. But when is too much, too much? You got your hands in, you're trying to write a book. You're over here trying to look at doing consulting. You've got real estate. You've got your sales license. And you're about to take on a storage facility. And it's like, he's like, how much is too much? I'm like, I don't know that yet. So you got to have that
That's
drive.
Kyle.
Awareness, kind of.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're saying that's Kyle, that's your partner? He's
I'm like, dude, we could go start another business, this. He's like, John, let's just focus on what we got right here in front of us.
That's what
I'm
Jake's-
the Kyle. I'm
He's
Kyle.
Bro.
Yeah.
John's
You guys
my-
are the visionaries, sort of, and
John's
you got-
my spirit animal.
Yes,
This guy
yes.
gets it. Like, let's go.
If you see my shadow, I actually look like Sean in my shadow.
There you go. Brilliant.
Yes.
Brilliant.
That's
But
so
it's
funny.
funny how one person can balance the other person and vice versa. Like, I don't think I would be driving so hard towards some of the things that we're working towards in our own business if it wasn't for your challenge to exceed what you think is possible. You know, so you're sort of that person. You're like, look, we can do better. We can do more.
Visionary.
Yeah, you're the visionary. And Kyle's like, okay, but practically, let's look at how this is and how much
Yeah.
we
You know what that word
actually
means?
take
I have
on.
no idea. I've never even heard that word.
Practically.
Yeah.
So it's fun how if you find the right person, oh my goodness, how they can help you where you need it most.
Yeah, it's so good. A good partnership is where it's at. We just did a strengths and weaknesses study, and we just want to sit down and we're just going to take time and parallel some, look at some gaps and see where we can maybe bring some people on to do those things that maybe drain us a little bit so we can keep going. And
Yeah,
so
that's a smart
It
idea.
sounds like you guys have the same thing. Yeah, if you guys haven't done it yet, do 5 strengths, 5 weaknesses. What I did to make it really easy, AI is great. I made a long list of just things I've been told I'm good at, I feel like I'm good at, and that I do well. And then I wrote down things that make me stressed out, tired. I don't want to do this. That's a drainer on my time. I've been told I'm not very good at this. And then I put those 2 big lists into AI. I'm like, summarize these, give me 5 strengths and 5 weaknesses. And it did great.
Yeah.
It really did good at consolidating, because a lot of those words you can go, well, these 2 are pretty similar. It did that. And so now I've got a thing with Jake, and I can sit down and do that and talk about it. That way we're aligning our gifts where we need to be. We can look at maybe bringing on some team for the things we're not so good at, so we can go do what we are good at.
Sounds like the most efficient way to push forward.
Yeah. So here's a challenge for our listeners. Do that in your own lives. Sit down with a piece of paper and write down the 5 things that you think are your biggest strengths. And then on the flip side of that, write down the 5 things that you think are your biggest weaknesses. Drop those into AI and ask them to summarize those things. It will spit out information about you that you didn't really recognize, but now that it says it the way that it does, you can go, oh, yeah, I totally get it. That's me. No, wait a minute. That's not me. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, you can pick out those strengths and weaknesses. So I would encourage everybody that's listening, if you can, I challenge you to write down your top weaknesses, your top strengths, and review them. Figure out what you're great at and excel in those things.
Absolutely.
So question number 4.
Let's do it. So what's one principle you wish more entrepreneurs understood managing what they've been entrusted with, whether it's people, money, or opportunity?
Don't be caught up on the cost of things. Don't be scared to cut a check. Don't be scared to lose money. Don't be scared to fail.
I mean, this is a question for a friend. How do you get better at that?
By failing.
Like, I'm cheap, so I'm always like,
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
I gotta write this.
I am
shit.
too, though. But
How do you
also, if it's like a roadblock right in front of you, and ultimately speaking, you got to spend some money or whatever to get it out of the way, whatever it may be, whatever that roadblock is, don't be scared.
Yep.
Don't be scared to just, all right, this is going to hurt, but
Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's one I think probably a lot of them struggle with, especially when you're starting out.
Yeah.
Big checks are tough to write.
Yeah.
But I've ran into it a handful of times. Jake and I have talked about it. My wife's been really good for me on, she would get back in my lane. To save money, I'll go try to fix the thing at the unit myself, having no business fixing it.
yeah.
So then I go there for a few hours and I go home. I'm tired. I'm stressed. Thing still doesn't work. The tenant's not happy. I'm frustrated.
And you have
I
to
go back
spend that
again the
money
next
anyways.
day. I'm like, oh, I've tried this. Go back, spend 2 more hours. You know, I value my time at a certain amount, and so I'm already in it more than it would have been. So then I end up calling the guy, and I'm like, would you go do this? Oh, yeah, I'll go. I'll swing over there, $175. And then he goes over there, fixes it in 20 minutes, calls back. He's like, you're good to go. Have a great afternoon. I'm like, thank you. I wish I would have just wrote the check first.
Yeah.
So it really is important. That is a great thing to share with our listeners.
Yeah.
That was something I'm hung up on, and I still at times catch myself. I've almost been to the point where I'm like, wait, what am I doing here? I'm at the property. I'm trying to fix the thing, and I go, what am I doing here? Go home. And then I let them know I'm going to call somebody. I'm going to get the guy over there that's going to do it right so we can move on. So, yeah, it's
What about you guys? With that same question, I kind of want to hear from your guys' perspective.
So big picture along the lines of what he was saying, from the perspective of maybe larger decisions that have to be made, I always try to posture myself in a position where I listen to my heart quickly. Like, I don't have to take a lot of time to do that, but I've kind of trained myself, and I call it the Holy Spirit check, you know, but a lot of people would just call it a heart check. You know, where's your heart on this initially? When you hear or ask the question with regard to a lot of money spent, or don't be afraid to do this thing, whatever this thing is, it's like, what does my initial heart check feel like? You know, that's, for me, that's the Holy Spirit saying, you're not supposed to be doing that, or you're good. You know, I feel good about this one. Let's move forward with it. And I think as you take action, then you begin to recognize, the action was good to be taken, but I just need to deviate from the general direction I was headed in and maybe head over here to the right a little bit.
Can I piggyback on that real
Absolutely.
quick? I've had several jobs that my heart or Holy Spirit has told me, do not touch this. And I was desperate for money, and I took on those jobs, and they've all been way too much. Like, you got clients that they have a budget of $500, and this is a $10,000 job once you start opening stuff up, and you're like, oh, whoa. And once you start opening up a roof, you can't just repackage it up and send
But you
it back.
can get to the inside of the property from the roof.
That's a story we got to tell.
It's actually Sean. That's what it is.
I'm the guy. I'm the $500 budget guy. Tore into it. I have to finish it.
No. You were a good sport. You were a very good sport, and I hope you know I was trying to work with you as much as possible. on
Nothing
that.
you told me surprised me. It's always biting off right in the additional check for me. But
Yeah.
you guys did a great job on it.
I want to come back to what John was saying, but you've got to tell that story quickly.
So-
What was the deal with that?
Yeah, so I'll tell that, and then I'm going to give my input on what I'd like to focus on in regards to entrepreneurship. So John actually did work for me on a property, and I knew this roof was bad. And I didn't know it was this bad. So he gets started, and they're pulling off layers, and then I get a phone call. Hey, we're getting under here. It's looking a little bit worse. We're going to have some more wood, some more sheeting. It's going to cost a little bit more here. I'm like, all right, well, we got to do it while we're up there. And a little bit of time goes by that day, and they're still tearing off and some more pictures. And he calls me back, and he's like, man, it's rough under here. We're going to have to do this and that.
Reframing.
And then, and then we're gonna have to tack on this much for that wood and some of that extra labor. I'm like, okay, well, if it's done right, that's the most important thing. All right, let's get this done. Get off of that call, and I'm like, okay. Sounds like we're there. We just got to finish up the job. But then I get a text message and a picture, and it's a hole in the ceiling of the bathroom. So one of John's team had fallen through the ceiling into my tenant's bathroom. And thank goodness everybody's okay. It's the only reason we can laugh. Everybody's just fine. Came right through the ceiling. And so then they've got to do patchwork on the inside, and he sends me that text, and my heart just sank because I'm thinking, like, you have insurance, that's professional business. Have insurance if you got a business. Yep. So he got it patched up afterwards and everything. But yeah, it's a hilarious story. I'll forever be connected to John from that one.
Back to what you were saying about how some jobs or certain situations that you might get in, you feel that initial heart check of like, maybe this isn't the best choice. Maybe this person's not ready to make this kind of a decision. Let me talk it through with them, or I don't know, whatever the circumstance was. But you've gone through that multiple times in your career where you have that initial heart check.
Yeah.
And you either commit to it and understand that that's there for a reason and you're not going to move forward, or you ignore it, which is what a lot of people will do. They move forward,
especially
and realize,
needing money. You know what I mean? That
young business.
Yeah.
You're trying to be profitable through the year.
Pay bills.
You commit to jobs maybe you shouldn't necessarily.
Yes.
And I think that's good because it's a learning process.
Yeah.
And you have the integrity to see the job through, but it can be painful.
It's okay to say no, though.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It can be painful when you get yourself into a pinch that you're like, I really don't know if I can come back from this one.
Yeah.
So you really have to be careful along those lines. But Sean, why don't you answer?
So just real quick on 4 in regards to what principle I wish more entrepreneurs understood, especially when you're starting out. Jake and I have talked about it before. For me, I want to make sure the people I'm around in whatever it is I'm doing are people that align with my core values. Mm-hmm. I don't want to get into a deal or an opportunity or a business with somebody that's got a completely different goal set than I do and isn't aligned with the similar vision I have. They shouldn't be the same. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to work with somebody that's all just trying to squeeze every dollar out of every deal and wants money. Mm-hmm. Let's get together and let's talk about what we're trying to grow here. Let's have some why behind why we're growing it. So for me, it's getting the right people around.
I love that.
I built a team of people before I started my business that were aligned with those values, were just good people. Like, just go get lunch with them and talk with them. It wasn't always about who's going to make a buck. Because you get around those people, you're going to be the one that loses.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, get around the right people in your business. Grow your business with the right people. We've talked about that at coffee before. Like,
yeah.
Make sure you've got the right people on the bus. But so that would be one I would add.
That's a great answer.
Yeah, so I want to kind of bring this thing home. We don't want to talk forever and ever, and I know John has a business to run.
Speak for yourself. I'm a bit of a talker.
He has people that are on jobs currently that he's ignoring to be kind enough to be with us and take some time to chat with our audience, so we want to respect that time. I want to switch the 2 questions that we still have left, and I want to ask John, what do you perceive as your superpower? And I want to explain this just a little bit to our audience before you answer that, because the question doesn't really explain itself all that well. And I'm going to use Sean as an example because it's a great example. Sean has ADHD. And by most people's standards, they would say that's a negative thing. Mm-hmm. He needs treatment for that. It's a struggle for him. But on the contrary, in the right environment with the right people around him, heading in the right direction, it is a superpower because this guy can go faster than anybody I've ever seen. He's just like go mode and never shuts off. But that's the ADHD put in the right environment. And because of it, that's a superpower.
Yeah.
Because with ADHD, you lack a little bit of ability to focus. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, when I'm in a task, I can get the task done. But it's very easy for me to immediately pivot to the next thing. Yeah. Go do that thing. Yeah. And so, I do go fast, and I do consider it a superpower, but it's ironic that it's that.
And I think that everybody if you really dive into your personality and even like your strengths and weaknesses that we talked about, you'll start to recognize where your superpowers lie. And you can lean into those and become wildly successful in those tasks because you recognize them as your superpower. So I want to ask you that very question.
I am a visionary. I see things, and even this whole entrepreneurial journey I've been on, you can ask my wife, I have foreseen everything that has taken place, bad and good. So like also being a visionary, you can see things that are going to go wrong too. You can see like a person and be like, I got a feeling something's going to happen with that person. And then it happens. But so, yeah, I would say my superpower is I'm a visionary. I see things. I see potential in things. I see what things could be. And I'm very good at honing that in and making that happen. Sometimes that comes with a pivot or two within that, and that changes a little bit of your vision. But that's what my superpower would be.
That's a good one to have.
That's a really good one to have. And it actually kind of makes me think along the lines of you from a leadership perspective, right? As a leader, you want to be the architect.
Yes.
You want to get to a position where you are able to step back and see a 20,000 foot view of everything that's going on and have vision for where everybody's going, and you become the person who just moves the pieces here, there, and everywhere. And your ability to see the vision beyond where you're at right now, you see where everything is going. That's a huge superpower.
Yeah.
That's something that a lot of people don't have. So
Heck yeah. Cool.
I think that's an incredible thing. The final question that we have for you is just, we want to give as much value to the people that listen to the podcast every week, I should say, not every day. I don't want to do one every day.
I don't have time for that.
Okay. But no, we want to give our listeners as much value as we possibly can. And one thing we would like for each of our guests to be able to do is give some piece of content that you found value in, whether that's a video or a podcast or a book. It just depends on kind of where you are able to learn best and what you found value in. Do you have something that you can give our listeners?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say the single thing that like kind of bonded with my bright-eyed and bushy-tailed personality was I watched this thing called The Secret when I was like 14, 15 years old. I mean, it's secular, but I like to attach it to God because the Bible just proves all these scenarios. So The Secret is basically there's a book and then there's a documentary, and basically it's like your mindset, how you think can attract certain scenarios. Gratitude reciprocates. If you're grateful for this small little amount, God will give you more. And so I think that's huge. Aside with being a visionary and having that, I've been able to get out of situations that most people get stuck in for the rest of their lives.
Yeah. That documentary is something that has kind of molded and shaped your perspective, helped you move the ball forward in your own life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's
Mindset.
Really cool.
Mindset is everything. It doesn't really matter what the thing is you're going into or thinking about doing. You better win up here first.
Yeah.
Before you even do it.
There was a guy on there. He was in gangs and everything growing up, and this was his story. Is he started to try to figure out the mind and mastering his own mind. So he had these things called a vision board, and he circled a house. Well, he's actually going through a magazine and cut out a picture of this house that was like a mansion. It was really nice, and he put it on his vision board. And he was growing a business, this, that, and whatever. 5 years goes by, and he just bought a house, and they're opening this box, and they're taking out their old vision boards. And his son's like, "Dad, what is this?" He's like, "What is this thing?" He's like, "Oh, it's my vision board." And he put it up, and he looked at the house, and he bought that exact house without even realizing it years later because the power of his mind attracted.
The mind is a powerful thing. Don't even get me started on that.
That reminds me, along those very same lines, and we'll close with this because I think it parallels exactly what you just said. Sean and I got together, and as we're sitting there for coffee, I bring up to him, I used to live in a house on our main street through town. And as I lived there, I didn't own any property at that time. I had owned property before. We lost it all. We moved from Arizona back to Ohio, and we just basically started our family over. And we bought a house on our main street here in town, and right across the road is a set of 16 apartments, 16 units. It's a sixplex in one building, and then 2 quadplexes and a duplex, right? But they're all together, so basically it's 16 units in total.
Right.
And I used to tell my wife, I would love to own that property. I would love it. Someday I'm gonna try to buy that property. I own those 16 units.
That's
now.
awesome. Yeah.
Years and years and years later, it parallels perfectly what you just said.
Yeah.
Where, at the time I had no way of buying that. I did, but I didn't know it at the time. I just, in my mind, I'm thinking, oh man, I wish I could own that.
Something
place.
like that.
It was almost like that. I wish I could, not I'm going to.
Yeah.
And through the process of growing and learning, I just turned that into, I'm going to.
Yeah,
How do I
that's it.
figure this out? I'm going to take action. We're going to go get it. By doing that, I bought the exact properties that I used to talk about wanting to own in the past.
Yeah.
I'm a
That's
huge
so
believer of that. And when you said it, when you pivoted to I am going to,
Yeah.
the mind starts to believe that phrase.
It's already got it.
It's not true yet, but the mind starts to believe it. Then it makes sure, because your mind believes it, it tells the body to start taking the steps to make that happen. You may not even really realize that that's what's happening.
And I think the universe, God first, let me say that. But I think he's got a way of orchestrating, if you're taking the right steps and if it's in his will and you take those steps, I don't think there's anything that can stop that from happening.
No, there isn't. There absolutely isn't. That's a great point.
No.
Who can stop his will for our lives? And that's why the heart check has to be a God check. It's got to be okay, God, I'm asking you to speak to my heart on this right now. Where are you at? How do you feel? Bring me peace or shake me and let me know this isn't what you have in store for us. And, man, it sure makes decisions easy.
Yeah.
That was why I left my job. Mm-hmm. I had the resolve because I felt a calling in my heart that I would be better in that space that he's calling me into than I was at my job. People like, you can't just quit already. You don't have that much to even, and they were right. But I knew it was a calling. And so there's no inner influence at that point. Mm-hmm. You can say whatever you want. You don't have to understand God's calling for my life. That's between me and him.
Yeah.
And so it makes it so easy to make those decisions when you have that peace from God on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll make a way, period. If he calls it, he'll make a way for it.
God's the one who gives us the vision. There's certain wants and needs that we have, and I think some of those wants and needs are placed on our heart by God. So therefore, it's really just him giving you the letter in the mail saying, hey, this is what you're going to be wanting to do or whatever, and then taking those actions and prepping your mind. And I am oh man, everything in this universe is so orchestrated by God. It's unbelievable. And I think once you realize that, you can really do some miraculous things.
And that is an awesome way to end the podcast.
Agreed. I don't have anything else to add.
Yeah.
Nice job.
Yeah.
Great closer.
That was incredible.
So, John, we really appreciate you coming on today, and it's just been awesome getting to know you and having a relationship with you, both personal and professional. But why don't you go ahead and tell the listeners today what your business is, where they can find you, and how to reach out to contact you if they need some work.
It's affordable roofing, siding, and gutters, and affordable pole barns. We're on Google. We have Instagram pages. It's at Afford Your Roof for the roofing company, and then for the pole barns, it's Affordable Pole Barns. And we are on Facebook and, Google, so.
Right on. Excellent. Yeah, so reach out to John if you need any work done on roofing or build, or I think you guys are in interior also, aren't you?
We do additions.
okay.
And we'll do the interiors of our additions.
Very cool. Well,
it's hard to find somebody who has such high integrity and wants the best for their clients.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And I think John fits that boat. Him and his team very much fit that vein where, they have a business to run. It needs to be profitable or they fail. However, they have their clients' best interest in mind and they have the heart of integrity. So I would highly encourage folks to reach out to John and his team to help with the needs that you have around your home.
Yeah, I agree. He's worked with me before, and I'll be calling him again, I'm sure.
Yeah, hopefully not falling through a roof or anything.
No more
like
of those, I hope.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I do want to encourage you to check us out on all of the social media platforms. We're on YouTube. We're on all of the podcast major platforms, so you can listen to us on any of those. We're on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, all those. So go check us out. Engage with us. We'd love to interact with our audience, throw some comments into our posts and stuff. Thank you so much, John, for being with us on the podcast today.
Problem.
Both of you had incredible things to hopefully give our listeners and inspire and encourage this generation to do more, to be better. We are all proof that you can come from nothing and be something.
Yes.
Be willing to lean in to your abilities and take action and see where the Lord leads, right? I mean, we're all testaments to what God is capable of doing.
Yeah,
So we encourage you guys to do the same. We look forward to the next episode, and it is the end of 2025. We're leading into 2026. Actually, this episode probably won't air until next
the
year,
new year.
but we're encouraged about what's going to happen in 2026. We're inspired that all of you have enjoyed our content, and we're going to continue to put things out and hope that we can encourage and lead and help you guys be inspired to do something more with yourselves in your futures, whether it be in your family or your business or leadership, whatever the case is. Lean in, take action, be the best person that you can be.
Amen.
Thanks for joining us today on Courageous Stewards, where legacy meets leadership and faith fuels the journey.
If this episode stirred something in you, share it with someone who's ready to step boldly into their calling. Subscribe, leave a review, and stay connected as we continue to explore what it means to lead with conviction, serve with excellence, and build with eternity in mind.
So until next time, keep showing up, keep stewarding well, and remember, courage isn't the absence of fear, it's obedience in motion.